Hello, my name's Chris Paul, and I am the CEO and founder of Man on Inverclyde, a mental health charity based in Greenock in the west of Scotland. And we're bringing you this message today to raise awareness of mental health and raise awareness of our charity and how we can maybe support you, your friends, or your loved ones if you need it. Now, we started off as a suicide prevention charity, and we're continuing that mission. We want to break the stigma attached to mental health. We want to break the stigma attached to men's mental health, and I know that a lot of men will be listening to this podcast. So please get in touch with us via Man on Inverclyde on social media. You'll find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. If you're not on social media and you want to get in touch with us via email, just type in support@manoninverclyde.com. Our landline here is 01475 910 258. So yeah, get in touch with us if you're struggling with your own mental health or you're concerned about a friend or a family member. One of our staff members, our volunteers, here to support you. Thanks for listening.
Hello and welcome to the Gallant Few Rangers podcast. My name's Chris Paul and I'm going to be your host today. We're bringing a new season of podcasts to the Gallant Few podcast, a new segment, if you like, and it's going to be called Rangers Away Days. And in this segment, we are going to be featuring our Rangers supporters clubs up and down the country and maybe further and beyond in regards to them following the club and the commitment that these guys obviously put in to follow the club, and hopefully share some stories about what it's been like to follow Rangers over the decades or recently. So yeah, Rangers Away Days, we're going to try and do as many of these as possible. So if you are a Rangers supporters club and you're interested in taking part, give us a message. So the Rangers Supporters Club that we're focusing on today on our first episode of Rangers Away Days is the Glaswegian Loyal. And we've got a couple of guys with us today who are going to be chatting about their experiences of following Rangers. And just as a kind of off the bat comment for myself, I have went on this bus on a number of occasions. I've followed them, particularly when Rangers play away in Europe. These are the guys that step up and sort of take you to various cities. I went to the Maribor game with them a couple of years ago, and the bus started in Vienna. So that shows you the commitment that these guys do. They don't just run buses to Ibrox and domestic games, they do it obviously for abroad. But yeah, without further ado, I'll introduce the two guys. So first and foremost, we've got Brian. Brian, how's things with yourself, mate? How you been? And thanks for coming on to the Gallant Few podcast.
Okay, well, everything's fine, Chris. Cheers again, mate.
No hassle, mate. No hassle. Thanks for coming on. How was your weekend last weekend after the semi-final? Take it you did a good one?
Too good, Chris. Too good. Honestly, I can still have flashbacks of that goal going in. Oh, when I thought at first it was Kala, but obviously I was told later on it was an own goal. But anyway, they all count, you know.
Oh, especially that one, mate. Especially that one. It's brilliant. No, cheers for that, mate. And obviously bumped into you outside the stadium as well, which was nice.
It was good. It was good.
Brilliant, mate. And we've got, obviously, joining Brian, we've got a second person. And for most people who probably associate the Glaswegian bus, they probably think of this person, and it's Hunter Smith. Hunter, how's things with yourself?
No bad, Chris. No bad. After a few good days last week. Ideal, mate, really.
It was a brilliant period, wasn't it, for following a club. I think the result in Braga wasn't the best, and you were fearing the worst at that point. But it was brilliant, mate, wasn't it?
One of the best performances at Ibrox has been for a long time, Chris. Well, the first 70 minutes I would say on Thursday night was tremendous.
No, amazing. It was brilliant. And it's a great time just now. I'd imagine you guys are maybe going to cover some of this stuff, but obviously the last time we got this far was 2008, and I know that probably both you guys followed the Rangers for most of that. So cheers for coming on to the podcast, guys. I appreciate it. Obviously, I've covered a wee bit of your bus, the Glaswegian Loyal, but Hunter, do you want to tell us a wee bit about roughly when the Rangers Supporters Club was started up and sort of its foundations, if you like?
Well, our friend, a guy called Sam Hanna, probably a lot of your folk will know who Sam Hanna is like. He took over a Glaswegian. So when Sam took the pub over, obviously we started drinking in a pub. And then we just started running buses to Ibrox from the pub up to Ibrox. And it just kind of grew through there, Chris, you know. And then, well, we started doing away games like after that. That was about 2005, 2006.
Brilliant. Aye, so it was obviously came from the pub, which was in the city centre, wasn't it?
Aye. Just on the edge of the Globals, really, like, you know. But as I say, Sam Hanna, when Sam had the pub, it was absolutely tremendous, obviously, for that 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And everything just grew through there, like, you know.
Brilliant. And I know, obviously, Brian, you get yourself involved in the bus. I know you're feeding where I'm for Greenock. So how did you end up getting involved with the Glassy?
Well, funny actually story, Chris. Actually, I bumped into Hunter. Met her in Hamburg in 2007 when we were playing Hanover in a pre-season friendly, and Hunter had to bail me out of the hotel. So we just became pals there, mate. Ever since.
He's been pulling you out of holes ever since, I believe.
Exactly.
Oh yes, he has.
Brilliant. And in terms of the bit I touched on, which I think is probably what most people associate the Glassy bus with, and I've booked onto one of your buses actually for next week to get into Leipzig from Berlin. But how did you end up starting running the buses in Europe? Because that's a different ballgame altogether, Hunter.
We started about 2002 or when did we play Feyenoord away? 2002, 2003. And about that, and we booked it was just an 18, I think it was about 16 years went, and we booked an 18-seater to go from Amsterdam to Rotterdam. So we were getting the ferry for South Shields. A lot of folk on the ferry saying, how you getting down to the game? So we says, we've got our own bus. So the folk were saying, have you got any seats on the bus, any seats on the bus? So when we landed, I phoned up the bus company and got like a 52-seater because that many folk weren't on the bus. And then it just snowballed to there, Chris, you know. So that was about 2002, 2003 whenever we played Feyenoord, kept my memories back. But that's when it started, like.
Brilliant, man. As I said, I've travelled a few times with you in that, and it's actually is a massive help, like to Rangers fans, because you know if you book into another city that's a bit cheaper to get to, that you guys are likely going to be running a bus for it. But no, and I think I was with you actually the last time you've done it, because you've done it for the Leipzig friendly, I believe. You were on your bus at that time as well.
We did. Hunter, was that 9 double deckers that day?
9 double deckers, aye.
Unbelievable, man. Is it kind of like obviously I'd imagine, I know you're working in that as well, but is it sometimes kind of like another full-time job on top of your job, the commitment of running a RSC?
This week it is. We have in Berlin, I think we've got about 600 names at the moment, like, so. This is in saying that, Feyenoord was maybe the biggest one. We had 14 buses to Feyenoord, or 15 buses the last time, like.
It was 14 the double deckers that night.
Aye.
Was that the Europa League one recently?
Aye. What was that, 3 years ago or something?
Aye. Mm-hmm. Brilliant, man. No, it's, as I said, it's a fair. You always see it on like follow and stuff where, you know, is a Glassy going to be running buses? And I know there's a couple other Rangers supporters clubs do that as well, but I think you guys are definitely the biggest. But it's great to have you on the podcast, because I know you follow Rangers everywhere. Everywhere that Rangers play, you guys are there. So we're obviously going to be looking at your top 3 games. So Hunter, I'm going to start with yourself. I don't know if you've had a chance to think about this, obviously in the time that we've been trying to plan it, but what would you say your third best game is following Rangers?
Away or at Ibrox, or just anything?
Anything, but aye, away days we're focusing on, but it can be going to Ibrox as well if that's been part of your journey with the bus. So aye, any game basically following Rangers.
Off the top of my head, third one, this could maybe actually be the top one, but I'll go with the third one. When they beat 1988, when they beat Celtic at Parkhead for years, for about 5 years when they beat them at Parkhead. 1980 it was. They went 1-0 up, and then we scored, 1-1, and then you've probably seen the television last minute. Willie Johnson gets the ball on the byline near the jungle. David Coleman comes across to try and stop him, take a quick throw, and Willie Johnson kind of shoves the ball towards his head. Coleman, I think the referee missed a full Coleman to get back a yard. Johnson flings it in towards the 18-yard box, and Alec Miller hit it right in the top corner, right in the last minute. Like, you know, when they beat them there for years, that's well up there, like, you know.
Brilliant, man. Brilliant. So that was what, 1980?
1980, aye.
Travelling back a fair bit there. I wasn't even born there. Were you, Brian, weren't you know?
No, mate, no, I wasn't. No.
Brian, what would you...
Chris, honestly, it is amazing. Seeing like Hunter and Co speak about Willie Johnston and Colin Steen and Robert Pritz and David Cooper, etc. I'm just sitting there going, wow, you know.
I know. No, because that's the icons, isn't it? That's the old school in that. No, it's great to hear that. 1980. And there's a few older guys got on our bus, and sometimes they'll talk about the olden days and, you know, the 80s, the 70s. There's a few people I know as well that would in Barcelona for 72. I take it you didn't make that, Hunter?
No, I'm not that old, Chris. No, I was, what was that then? 9. I was 9 then, Chris,
Aye. All right, but 1980, so we've started off here. Brian, what would you say your third best game is following the Teddy Bears?
Oh, Chris, God's sake, wow. You see, Chris, there's that many. Really, there is really that many. Well, I would say if I have to start for the third and work my way up to the first, I would say that the third would be, well, for me personally, and a moment of sheer joy and pride, I would say beating City away in the Challenge Cup, because we had that summertime where we were denied our SFA license.
Yeah.
So just to see Rangers, you know, coming onto the field was just that was just sheer magic, you know.
Aye, I was there at the Hedge game. It was a wee bit emotional that day, I thought, because
it was, yeah, it was
touch and go, wasn't it, in terms of the licence and in terms of what that meant, really. Wasn't the best game in the world, but as you say, it was kind of poignant to watch them come out, obviously.
It was, yeah, it was.
And that started off the journey in the third division. Did you guys make it to every game in the third division all the way through, I take it?
Aye, most of them, Chris.
Aye.
Yeah, we did Elgin, Peterhead, Annan, Berwick, Stenhouse, Muir, Stirling, Albion. You know, Hunter, we did a bus to every single game, actually.
Double deckers at some times, I know.
Elgin away and Peterhead, especially.
4 hours away, I know. I know that was in the Scottish Cup, was it? Aye, 4 hours away, remember that.
Aye. What was that like for yourself, Hunter, that kind of period of time? Because obviously I'd imagine following Rangers for, you know, the 80s and obviously been sort of proud that Rangers been in the top flight. What was it like, obviously, the third division and that journey going through it for yourself?
For me, Chris, it wasn't so much like where we were playing or that. It was just the way, for me, it was just the way what happened. Like, you know, we should never have been put down there. For me, hate was a big word, maybe a strong word, but for what I think against, not just that, the Scottish government, other teams were against us, right through the whole thing. For me, that was the worst thing about getting put down there, is how we got put down, if you know what I mean. Not so much us going to Elgin or Peterhead or wherever we went, or Stranraer or whatever, wherever we went. Wasn't great, but different adventures, I suppose. But nah, it was just, for me, it still raggles me yet. That we shouldn't have, like, the way we were put down. That was the biggest thing. I know folk will go, I remember going here, I remember going there, but I just remember how we got put down there. Like,
aye, no, I know it wasn't great. It wasn't a great period of time, at 2012 era. But some of the away days were decent in the journey coming up, I suppose. But it's good to be back where we are now, particularly talking about semi-finals in Europe again. It's unbelievable with the journey. So come on to number 2 then. Your second best away day, or your second best day following Rangers, Hunter. What would it be, number 2?
Off the top of my head again, Chris, I'm going to say Leon away. Just the whole thing. Me and my friend from Edinburgh, we flew. Brian went on a bus But I flew to Dublin and Geneva, and we were meant to get a train just say 1 o'clock Geneva, missed that. So we didn't get to Lyon until about 7:30. I think it was a 1:45 kick-off. Just got a taxi straight out to the ground. I think we missed about the first 5 minutes. And then I can still see, 85 minutes. And I'm not kidding you, I looked at the scoreboard at 85 minutes, 3-0 to Rangers, and I says, surely we'll get out here with a draw, like, you know. We're 3-0 in 85 minutes. But I have to say that unexpected result, I would say Lyon away.
Aye, and that was a class Lyon team as well, when Benzema and all that.
I mean, I think the year before, Chris, I could be wrong. I think the year before they no reached the quarterfinals of the Champions League. I could be wrong, but they were undefeated in Lyon in so many games, like, you know.
Aye, I think they were in. I mean, I watched that game in the house and I was buzzing about it. Never mind being over there and the atmosphere, which obviously at the time was in the Champions League, but we didn't know what lay ahead is the rest of that season in the UEFA Cup. But no, that's a good one. And I think as well, you kind of touched on something that I think a lot of people don't, if they don't follow Rangers in Europe, they maybe just think that you fly direct to the actual city, but you know, from Glasgow or Edinburgh. But the reality is, it's planes, trains, and automobiles, isn't it?
Definitely, Chris, definitely. Just, I'll tell you, you just look at the computer or your phone and just try and work out routes how to get there, you know. So
aye,
everybody's got their own way of doing it.
Aye, some of the travel routes are mental. But no, Lyon away is a great shout, mate. Brian, what about yourself? Your second game?
I would have to say Fiorentina in the semi-final.
Yeah.
You know, that was a very special night.
Aye, without a doubt. How did you feel before the penalty started, Brian?
Well, that's the thing. I can remember Fiorentina were just like constantly on the attack, and you know, Coelho was just outstanding as well that night. And every time we just put the ball up towards Nacho Novo. So when it came to penalty kicks, let's just say I was pretty much waiting for Rangers to just lose, you know, because it'd just be that, you know, that feeling of we've got so far, etc. And I thought, oh no, this is at the end, you know. But no, thankfully the gods actually shined on us.
Aye,
and then we're through.
Unbelievable. I always get dead envious when I hear people that were actually in Fiorentina for that game. I watched that in the house.
I can remember as well, I was in the stand, right, and I was saying to the boy, I think the last Fiorentina penalty kick, I think the boy actually put the ball over the bar. Am I right?
Yes.
I can remember screaming to the boy actually next to me, one more, you know, and just we were all holding on to each other and see when Noble stepped up and scored. Oh, it was just phenomenal, Chris. Absolute phenomenal.
Brilliant, mate.
So yeah, I'm hoping that you know lightning strikes twice, you know.
Aye, definitely, and obviously we've got Leipzig now to contend with, a decent team. But Fiorentina were no mugs.
No. They were actually. Oh, I think actually over the 2 legs, they were probably actually the better side. Really.
Aye. Mm-hmm. But we done it. Obviously, we got to Manchester, but no, two cracking shouts for your second one. So coming to your number one game then, Hunter following Rangers, either Ibrox or away. What's number one for you?
This is a hard one really, because if you're at Ibrox, it was 72 Barcelona, Bayern Munich, sorry. Another one was we were 2-0 doing at half time, 1977. At half time against them, come back and won 3-2. But I'm going to go for Collins Stein at Easter Road to win the league in 75. Because they'd done 9 in a row. And if you were at school in those days, it wasn't good, like, you know. But I'll hate to go for Collins Stein scored. I'll get the draw at Easter Road to win the league in 1975. Absolutely. I think there was. Well, the official gate was 35,000, but the lot more was there, like, you know.
Aye. What was it like going to the games in 75 then, and compared to now, an away game? Was it a lot better back in the day?
Oh, hang on. My sister took me. They just did 90%. Well, she took me all the games, like. Another one that season, Derek Perline scored 6 at Dunfermline. That was aye. But no, aye. I wish I could go back to the days, Chris. Like. A lot of folk like the comfy, the seats and that, but no, I preferred it in the olden days, like, you know.
Aye, brilliant, mate. 1975. Three crackers there, three welters. I like the Leon one as well because of the story, because, you know, sometimes it's about a story of getting to the game, isn't it? The journey and everything else that goes with it, but no, it's three cracking games.
Brian, the road one really is just for the sake of stopping there 10 in a row. It was just, yeah, in fact, between 66 and 1970 when they won nothing. Fair enough, we won the Cup Winners' Cup 72, 73 we won the Scottish Cup, but when they really won it, but I know 72 was a great time. Well, going to Barcelona. We won a lot from 66 to 1975, you know, and they'd won 9 in a row, done this, done that. They'd been to two European Cup finals in that time.
Yeah.
So for us to stop it, like, the thing was Colin Steen was transferred for Rangers to Coventry, and then he came home March 7. He came home in the March 75, and then he came home and scored the winner like Easter Road. So it all kind of biles into that, Chris, you know.
Brilliant, man. Brilliant. You must have been buzzing to come back and get the winner, I would imagine, or get the equaliser, sorry.
Yeah, he was. I think if you ask anybody my age or older and ask them who their favourite player was, it was Colin Steen, like, you know. He was an absolute god to Rangers fans. And for him to go away, wasn't too happy when he left in 72. Him and Willie Johnson left at the same time, just about. But when he came back in 75, it was just written, like, you know, scored the winner at Easter, scored the equaliser at Easter Road for us to stop there 10. It was fantastic.
Brilliant. I think as well, like, sometimes, obviously, we've just went through it, and maybe the last was touched on 2012, but although it was COVID, but to get 55 was unbelievable as well. And in terms of that feeling, we get denied a cracking season, obviously, that year, but I think when you've not had success, I think it feels even sweeter when it comes. So, 100% agree, mate. No, ideal. Brian, what about yourself? What's your number one game for following the Rangers?
I have to say it would be Walter Smith's last season as Rangers manager when we beat Kilmarnock 5-1. I think for me personally, right, is when I was actually growing up, right, I sort of came onto the scene this season after we... I sort of came onto the scene, right, about 1999, right? So obviously I've missed Walter Smith, I've missed Ali McCoy, Gaza, Loudrup, right? But you always were told by older fans about the good times, etc. With Loudrup, Gaza, McCoy, Walter, 9 in a row, etc. Right? So to have Walter Smith come back, you know, and you know, to win the league in his last season as a Rangers manager, you know, that was special for me. You know, because I actually got to see the greatest ever manager probably in my lifetime. So yep, come out away 5-1, 2011.
And we blew them away, didn't we? The first sort of 7 minutes. First 7 minutes was in the bag, wasn't it?
That was just crazy, absolute crazy. But I fucking loved
it. Same, mate. Same, because
it was Kyle Lafferty with the chip first, aye. Was it Kyle Lafferty with the chip?
Yeah, nice wee chip over the keeper. That kind of get things started off.
Yeah.
Brilliant. No, you touched on obviously Walter Smith, and I was probably similar to yourself. I went to a couple of games when I was a wee bit younger, but never obviously experienced Walter's team, you know, the 9 in a row team that in the best way because of my age, but obviously him coming back and the rugby park, I was there for the scenes after it as well. It was brilliant. Great choice, mate. Some good ones there, and varied as well, obviously for different reasons. So the last question that I'm going to ask you both, and Hunter, you might have covered it already, but in your time following Rangers, who has been your greatest Ranger following the club? The person that has either excited you the most or got you the most passionate in terms of following Rangers? Hunter, I'll come to yourself first.
Another hard one again, Chris, but maybe not got me the most excited, but John, it has to be John Greig, you know. I can't go past him. I mean, Willie Johnston was a great winger. I suppose going about Davy Cooper or Loudrup, but John Greig pulled us out of a lot of holes, like, you know, when he was captain. You know, I've seen us doing 1-0, and Greg, you know, just he dragged us through a lot of games. We were only successful at times. He dragged us through a lot of games. He could be 1-0 doing, and Greg was, well, he was hard on his own players, like, you know, but he dragged us through games, and we got victories through him, and just a superb captain. And the question was about who excited you the most. He maybe didn't excite us the most, but you've got to respect what he done for the club, like, and it has to be John Gregg, like, you know.
Brilliant, mate. No, it's just whatever way you interpret that, you know, what the best person that you've had following a club in whatever way, but no, you're not going
just
to talk.
Just the way, I mean, even before Mark tried going to the games, Chris, you know, he could have went, you read the story, he could have went to England, he could have went, I mean, just wasn't successful. Like, once Scott Simon was away in that, and they won the European Cup in 67, right to 1970, when we won the League Cup in 1970. Yeah, we wanted to just be successful, and Greg stuck with us, dragged that team through games when we were getting beat, and he dragged us back to get a draw or a win. He was just amazing as a captain, like, you know. And he could play a bit of football and all, mind. Everybody kind of forgets that. He could play a bit as well.
Aye, brilliant. No, that's great. And he's obviously doing as the greatest ever Rangers, didn't he? As the club has to get voted as.
Aye, that's it. As I say, Willie Johnston, I love Willie Johnston. Like, he would excite you more as John Gregg did, but what he done for the club and right through, you've just got to take your hat off to him, you know.
Agreed, mate. Agreed. No, great choice. Brian, what about yourself? What would be yours, obviously, in following the club for the time that you have?
Oh, Chris, there's just too many, really, mate. But I would say in terms of excitement, well, Hunter, I'm going to have to go right with Chris Boyd, I think, for breaking Larsson's record as well, for scoring the goals, especially during 2008, 2009. That's what I would have to say.
Goal scorer.
Again, there's far too many, Chris. It's one of the most difficult questions. So, in terms of excitement, yeah, I have to say Chris Boyd and scoring the goals.
Aye, Boyd, although maybe sometimes away in Europe, he wasn't the lone target man or anything like that. He got you goals in the league that won you the titles, didn't he?
Mm. Oh yes.
Without a doubt. I always remember you're talking about the three in a row with Walter, the one at Tannadice, the first of the three was crucial there. In the final against Dundee United, the League Cup final as well, he was unbelievable for that. So great choice, mate. Cracking goal scorer, and as you said, surpassed Larsson's record, which I think still annoys quite a lot of people, to be honest, isn't it?
Good.
Aye, brilliant. Great choice, mate. So obviously we've covered your away days, and we've shined a wee bit of light on some of the players that you've liked and stuff. And I know that, as I said, for myself, obviously catching up with yourselves, given how many games that you actually put into the time and the effort and the commitment that you both put into not just following Rangers for yourself, but into obviously supporting other Rangers fans like myself and people getting in Europe and getting to the game safely. On behalf of the Gallant Few podcast, I just want to say thanks to you for coming on, and thanks to you for doing so much for the Rangers support. Like, all it goes unnoticed, and to be honest, the service you provide's probably better than the official travel club. So you need to take a bit of credit for that, because it's brilliant. But thank you very much, guys, for coming on and sharing a wee bit about your stories about following Rangers. Thanks very much.
Thanks for having us on, Chris.
No much worries, Paul.
Cheers. No bother, guys. And cheers for listening, guys. If any Rangers supporters clubs are wanting to get involved in this away day segment, then please let us know. But thanks for listening. We are the people.